I prayed for quick answers, but heaven answered with distance. I asked for a short road, but my feet were given miles. And somewhere between my prayer and my pain, I started to realize coming home was not going to be fast. I left my beginning with burning ambition, chasing light that I thought was mine. I counted my steps by impatient visions, never reading between the lines. Every prayer I sent went higher slowly, like it was learning my heart's delay. And what I thought would be a straight redemption became a winding, broken way. I met my pride on the edge of nowhere. I met my silence face to face. And the dreams I thought would carry me forward began to slow my pace. The road home is longer than I prayed, but mercy walks it with me anyway. The road home is longer than I prayed, but I am learning how to stay. No quick escape, no easy sign, just a steady hand through space and time. The road home is longer than I prayed, but I'm still yours, still alive. I try to run through open answers, but every door led back to me. My mistakes became my teachers in the school of humility. I saw the mirror of my journey reflect a stranger I once knew, and every broken expectation became the truth I walked into. I cried out loud for sudden mercy, for a miracle to change my path. But heaven whispered in the waiting, growth is never born from fast. The road home is longer than I prayed, but I feel your footsteps in the delay. The road home is longer than I prayed, but I trust you anyway. No shortcuts here, no perfect sign, just faith learning how to climb. The road home is longer than I prayed, but I am yours through every mile. Oh, Jah, I thought I was lost, but I was only being formed. Every delay had a purpose, every silence was a storm. The road is not punishment, it is preparation. What I call delay was divine conversation. Now I no longer rush the sunrise, I no longer fight the night. I have learned the value of waiting, where darkness teaches light. Even my detours hold meaning, even my falling has a voice, telling me that broken journeys are sometimes heaven's choice. I still walk with tired footsteps, but my and the shadows sit beside me like old friends. Who do I become when nobody is watching? I used to run in the morning light, but evening always finds the truth I hide. I walk through streets of broken promises, where every smile had a hidden price. I carried my pride like heavy iron chains and call it strength, call it light. But the night has a voice that don't lie. It whispers what the daylight denies. And I heard my own soul crying out from places I never dared to go inside. Oh, I've been wandering far too long, singing empty words like a borrowed song. But the closer the day turns into night, the more I feel you were right all along. At the close of the day, I lay it down, every crown I built in Babylon. At the close of the day, I hear your sound calling me home when my strength is gone. No more running, no more disguise, no more hiding from mercy's eyes. At the close of the day, I realize your love was waiting all this time. I spoke in tongues of confidence, but my heart was full of silent wars. I built my walls to feel secure, but they became my prison doors. I saw my reflection in the rain. It didn't look like who I claimed. It looked like someone lost between forgiveness and a life of shame. Then I heard a sound like distant thunder, not of judgment but of grace. And every lie I used to cover fell like dust from my face. At the close of the day, I lay it down, every burden that I couldn't name. At the close of the day, I hear your sound calling me back through the fire and rain. No more running, no more disguise, no more fear in these weary eyes. At the close of the day, I realize you were mercy all my life. Oh, Jah. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, Jah. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, Jah. I surrender now. I surrender now. Let the fire clean my hands. Let the truth rebuild my ground. I was lost in the noise of my own mind, but you spoke in a language the broken find, 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 find. Even my scars begin to sing. Even my pain becomes offering. I used to think strength was never falling, never bending, never breaking down. But I learned the strongest soul is kneeling when nobody is around. So I kneel where my pride used to stand, in the ashes of my foolish plans. And I feel your mercy lift me up like a child held in unseen hands. Now I know what the prophets told me. Love is louder than the grave, and every soul that cries for healing is a soul you came to save. At the close of the day, They said I would bend. They said I would bow. They said the weight of this world would teach me how to break. But they didn't know there was something deeper holding me up when everything else gave way. Even when I trembled, my knees remembered how to pray. I walked through fire in the name of survival. I carried burdens too heavy for my skin. I heard the voices of accusation saying I would never rise again. Babylon built their walls around my footsteps. They studied every weakness in my soul. But what they never understood about me is that I was never alone. Every chain they tried to wrap around me only taught my spirit how to stand. And every fall they thought would finish me became the making of who I am. Babylon could not break my knees. I was held by something stronger than pain. Babylon could not break my knees. I still rise every time I fall again. No chain can silence this fire in me. No storm can rewrite destiny. Babylon could not break my knees. I am still free, I am still free. I wore rejection like a shadow. I wore struggle like a second name. But even in my darkest hour, I never learned to bow in shame. They pushed, they mocked, they tried to silence the song that lived inside my chest. But every blow became a rhythm that made my spirit sing its best. I saw my tears become my teachers. I saw my wounds become my guide. And every night I thought I'd perish, I found a reason still to rise. Babylon could not break my knees. I was built for something higher than fear. Babylon could not break my knees. I survived what was meant to end me here. No weapon form could steal my peace. No light could silence what lives in me. Babylon could not break my knees. I still believe, I still believe. Oh, Jah, I stood in the storm and I did not fall apart because you placed a fire in me, stronger than the dark. They pressed me, but I did not break. They tried me, but I did not shake. I am not what they said I would become. I am what grace has done. Now I walk with scars like scripture, written deep into my skin. Each one telling silent stories of where I've been. I no longer fear the pressure. I no longer fear the night. Because even in my lowest valley, I found a reason to fight. My knees remember every prayer, every cry I spoke in pain. And now they bend in holy power, not in defeat, but in praise. Babylon could not break my knees. I'm standing stronger than I was before. Babylon could not break my knees. I will rise forevermore. No change remain, no fear in me. Only truth and destiny. Babylon could not break my knees. I am free, I am free. Babylon could not break my knees. me now. Babylon could not break my knees. Babylon could not break my knees. I used to speak like I had no ending, words falling from my mouth like I owned the air. But life had a way of burning my language, until all I could taste was ashes. And still, I am breathing. I spoke too fast in the fire of my pride, built my truth on shifting sand. I raised my voice against the quiet signs, never knowing I was burning my own hand. Every argument left a scar on my soul. Every promise I failed to keep turned into dust in the wind of my choices, falling heavy while I could not sleep. Then the fire I started to control me, and silence became my only friend. What I call strength became my breaking, and my beginning looked like an end. Ashes on my tongue, mercy in my breath. I tasted my ruin and found life instead. Ashes on my tongue, mercy in my breath. You turned my dying into something that said, live again, live again. Even when I had nothing left, I walked through streets of my own destruction, where every step remembered my name. The echoes of my bad decisions called me softly through the pain. I tried to hide in my explanations, but you don't need a witness to be real. It rises up like a holy fire and teaches the broken how to feel. Then I fell where no pride could save me, no voice could defend my fall. And in that place of total surrender, I heard mercy answering it all. Ashes on my tongue, mercy in my breath. I was drowning in myself until nothing was left. Ashes on my tongue, mercy in my breath. You spoke life where I expected death. No more chains, no more disguise, only truth in these humbled eyes. Ashes on my tongue, mercy in my breath. You saved me from my own demise. Oh, Jah, I surrender the flame, burn away everything I claim. Not my pride, not my name, only mercy remains. The fire did not destroy me, it revealed me. The ashes were not my ending, they were my healing. Now I speak slower, I listen deeper, I walk where silence teaches truth. Every wound has become a teacher, every tear became proof. I no longer fear my broken places, they are where your light enters in. And every fall I once was ashamed of became the doorway to begin. Even my mistakes sing hallelujah, even my scars declare your name. And what once was my shame and ruin, you turned into redeeming flame. Ashes on my tongue, mercy in my breath. I was lost in the fire Let the ashes remind me of where you brought me from. Let my breath be a testimony that mercy has won. Ashes on my tongue, mercy in my breath. I came with nothing in my hand. No gold, no strength, no perfect prayer. Only tears. And I didn't know that heaven was listening closer than I was speaking. Let this sorrow become something holy. I walked into the silence of my burden, where no one saw the weight I wore. Smiles outside, but inside breaking. I could not pretend anymore. Every step felt like a question, every breath a whispered pain. And I learned that even strong foundations can tremble like the falling rain. I tried to pray with perfect language, but words refused to leave my soul. So I stood there in my imperfection, letting sorrow take control. When my tears became my offering, you didn't turn away from me. When my tears became my offering, you turned my brokenness to peace. No altar made of gold or power, no sacrifice I could pretend, just tears falling in surrender. And you call it love again. I used to think I had to hide it, the trembling truth inside my chest. But every wound I tried to cover only called for deeper rest. I saw my pride dissolve like morning under mercy's gentle light. And everything I thought was lost, you turned into something right. Even my shame began to whisper, you are not beyond repair. And in the middle of my falling, I found you waiting there. When my tears became my offering, you received what I could not say. When my tears became my offering, you never pushed me away. No judgment in your eyes toward me, no rejection in your hands, just love that understands the broken and still gently understands. Oh, Jah, I have nothing left to give but this breaking heart of mine. And somehow you call it holy, somehow you call it divine. My sorrow became a doorway, my pain became a sound. And in my lowest moment, your mercy was all around. Now I no longer fear my crying, for it leads me back to you. Every tear becomes a witness that your love is always true. I don't hide behind my weakness, I don't run from what I feel, because tears became my offering. You showed me I belong. No more shame, no more disguise. Only grace before my eyes. When my tears became my offering, you saved my life. You saved my life. When my tears became my offering, I found you all alone. Your name, let every broken moment become praise again. When my tears became my offering. I used to think no one could see me when the lights went out. I thought darkness was my hiding place, where even truth could not find me. But the night has its own witness, and it remembers everything. I walked in silence with a heavy ego, wearing confidence like a crown. But every step I took in shadow was a step that brought me down. I spoke too loud in my own direction. I trusted more in my own name, never knowing that the night was listening, recording every hidden shame. The moonlight fell like quiet judgment on everything I tried to hide. And suddenly my inner kingdom had no place left to reside. The night testified against my pride. No courtroom louder than my soul inside. The night testified against my pride, and I had nowhere left to hide. No witness called, no voice denied, just truth I could not push aside. The night testified against my pride, and I finally broke inside. I built my image on empty echoes, reflections of who I claimed to be. But every lie I used to comfort became a mirror I could see. The darkness did not come to harm me, it came to show me what I was. And every flaw I tried to bury rose up without apology or pause. I felt my arrogance dissolving like dust inside a holy wind, and all the things I called my greatness began to feel like sin. The night testified against my pride and stripped away the mask I wore. The night testified against my pride, and I couldn't pretend anymore. No defense, no alibi, just truth I couldn't deny. The night testified against my pride, and I learned how to cry. But yeah, I thought I was strong, but I was only loud. I thought I was standing, but I was built on clouds. The night was not my enemy, it was my revelation. The silence was not judgment, it was restoration. Now I walk softer through my own thinking. I speak slower than before. I no longer trust the voice of pride like I trusted it before. Even the night feels like a teacher, not an enemy to fear, because it showed me who I was when no one else was near. I learned that breaking is not ending, it is the start of something true. And every fall I once was hiding became the place I grew. The night testified against my pride, and mercy stood where ego died. The night testified against my pride, and I finally opened my eyes. No more chains of self-deceit, no more pretending I am complete. The night testified against my pride, and I found my defeat was relief. The night testified against my pride, and I am free tonight. If the night can tell the truth, then let it also heal. If pride must fall to save the soul, then let it be revealed. The night testified against my pride. The night testified against my pride. There was a name I used to answer to, but it carried too much weight. Too many mistakes attached to it. Too many nights I wish I could erase. So I came to the river, not to run, but to disappear into mercy. I walked down to the water trembling, with the past that knew my face too well. Every step felt like confession, every breath like something I could not tell. The word had written its opinion on me, with ink that refused to fade away. But I heard a voice inside the silence, saying, "Child, come this way." So I lay down every title I was carrying, every label that the past had known, and I stepped into the current of forgiveness, where I would not walk alone. I buried my old name in the river Jordan, let the water take what I used to be. I buried my old name in the river Jordan, and mercy set me free. No more chains calling out my history, no more shame defining me. I buried my old name in the river Jordan, and I rose in victory. The water spoke in silent language that only broken hearts can hear. It told me I was not my failures. It told me love is always near. I felt the weight of condemnation slowly falling off my soul like stones released from ancient burdens I never knew I had to hold. drown me. It revealed me. The water did not erase me. It redeemed me. Now I walk with lighter footsteps, no shadow dragging me behind. I speak with quiet understanding of the mercy I have found. Even my reflection is different, not because I changed alone, but because the river carried me to where forgiveness makes a home. I am not what they called my yesterday. I am not what I used to be. I am a name rewritten by mercy in eternity. I buried my old name in the river Jordan, and I rose with heaven in my soul. I buried my old name in the river Jordan, and now I am made whole. No more chains, no more shame, no more shame. Only glory in His name. I buried my old name in the river Jordan, and I will never be the same. I buried my old name in the river Jordan, and I am free. I am free. Let the water remember what I no longer carry. Let the past stay buried where mercy made me empty. I buried my old name. 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 I was running, not knowing what I was running from anymore. Not the world, not the people, but myself. And I thought speed would save me, but instead it made me lost. Until something happened in the middle of my running. I wore my fears like moving shadows. I wore my fears like moving shadows, always one step out of reach. Never staying in one moment, never learning what it means. I chased tomorrow like it owed me. I left my yesterday behind. But every road I thought was forward was a circle in my mind. Then exhaustion met my spirit in the middle of nowhere ground. And the silence I had avoided was the only sound. I met grace in the middle of my running when I had nothing left to prove. I met grace in the middle of my running, and suddenly I couldn't move. No more fear, no more disguise, just truth standing in my eyes. I met grace in the middle of my running, and I realized I was never alone. I thought strength was in escaping, never stopping, never still. But I didn't know that silence was where mercy bends the will. Every breath I tried to hurry became heavy. that you were waiting in the road. Not at the end, but where I slowed. Grace did not chase me, it met me where I fell. Grace did not judge me, it broke my running spell. Now I walk without that rushing, no more need to prove my worth, because I found my true direction was not speed, but rebirth. Even when the world is calling to go faster than my peace, I remember that encounter where my running had to cease. And I no longer fear the stillness, it is where I am restored, because grace still meets me daily when I cannot run anymore. I met grace in the middle of my running, and it changed the way I see. I met grace in the middle of my running, and it rescued me. No more searching, no more pain, only love I can't explain. I met grace in the middle of my running, and I will never be the same. I met grace in the middle of my running, and I am home. I am home. In the middle of my running, and I am home. I am home. If I ever run again, I will remember this place where grace stopped my motion and replaced it with grace. I met grace. I met grace. I met grace. There were nights when I sang without an audience. No hands clapping, no voices answering, just walls and my own breath. And I wondered if sound still matters when nobody comes to hear it. I sang into empty corners of my waiting, where silence learned my every tone. I gave my voice to broken hours when I felt completely alone. No stage light ever found my shadow, no crowd ever knew my name. But I kept singing like it mattered, even when nothing changed. The room became my only witness, the night became my only friend, and every note I lifted upward felt like it might never send. Songs I sang when nobody came still carried your presence just the same. Songs I sang when nobody came were never really in vain. Even empty rooms can be holy, even silence knows your name. Songs I sang when nobody came, you were listening all the same. I learned the sound of my own heartbeat as it echoed through the dark, and every lyric I kept releasing became a hidden spark. I thought I was forgotten, unseen, was shaping destiny in me. No stage, no light, no fame, but still I called your name. Songs I sang when nobody came, you were there all the same. Oh, Jah, in the empty room I found you near, not in the crowd, but in the tears, 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 tears. The silence was not rejection, it was preparation. The loneliness was not abandonment, it was conversation. Now I understand the quiet seasons were never meant to break my soul. They were shaping hidden strength in me, making the broken whole. I don't measure worth by applause anymore, or the sound of a cheering crowd, because I've heard you in the silence, speaking soft and loud. Even now when people listen, I remember where I came from. Songs I sang in empty places when no one knew my name. Songs I sang when nobody came, were never lost in empty space. Songs I sang when nobody came, were held by your grace. No loneliness can define me, no silence can shame me again. Songs I sang when nobody came became my strength within. Songs I sang when nobody came, you were there, you were there. If nobody comes again, I will still sing, because silence is not empty, it is listening. Songs I sang when nobody came, songs I sang when nobody came. Songs I sang. I stopped talking, because even my words began to feel too loud for my own heart. And in that silence, something started moving, not outside of me, but inside the places I try to forget. I shut my mouth against the noise of the world, where every voice was fighting to be right. I hid myself in the corners of confusion, wrapped in questions that never saw light. I thought silence meant I was alone, abandoned in the dark with my fears. But silence became a different language, and I started hearing what was always near. No thunder broke, no trumpet sound, no fire fell from the sky, just a stillness so deep it shook my soul and made my inner prison cry. I heard God walking in my silence, like footsteps on the floor of my soul. I heard God walking in my silence, and suddenly I didn't feel alone. No shouting, no violence, no disguise, just mercy looking through my eyes. I heard God walking in my silence, and it changed me deep in inside. I used to chase answers in the crowd, where truth gets lost in the noise. But my healing never came from the loud. It came when I lost all my voice. I remember nights without direction, when even prayer felt far away. But in the stillness of my broken reflection, I heard something gentle say, "Child, I never left your side. I was hearing every tear you cried. You just couldn't hear me through the storm. You called your life. I heard God walking in my silence, through the ashes of my restless mind. I heard God walking in my silence, and love was all I could find. No fear, no pride, no disguise, just truth breaking through my lies. I heard God walking in my silence, and I finally opened my eyes. Oh, Jah. In the quiet you found me. In the quiet you spoke my name. Not in fire, not in thunder, but in mercy that never changed. Silence was not empty, it was sacred ground. I was never forgotten, I was only slowing down. I learned that brokenness can become a doorway, when pride finally steps aside, and every unanswered question I carried became where your wisdom resides. I start running from my reflection, I stopped fighting what I could not control, and in surrender I found direction, like rivers returning to the soul. Even my wounds began to whisper, you were never meant to stay the same. And every scar became a witness that grace still knows my name. I heard God walking in my silence, and it broke every chain I wore. I heard God walking in my silence, and I don't run anymore. No fear, no pride, no disguise, just light pouring into my life. I heard God walking in my silence, and I'm alive, I'm alive. I heard God walking in my silence, and I will never be the same. Walk with me still in the quiet, when the world gets too loud to hear. Let my silence become holy. Let my silence keep you near. I heard you. I hear you still. I came with nothing. No proof, no pride, no possessions to defend me. Only emptiness in my hands and questions in my chest. But somewhere in that emptiness, I discovered something I never had before. Presence. less standing, but instead I felt more true. The world measures hands by what they're holding, by the weight of earthly gain. But I learned that empty fingers can still carry grace through pain. Every loss I tried escaping became a doorway I walked through, and in the space where nothing lingered, I found something new. My hands are empty, but my spirit is full, overflowing with a peace I never knew. My hands are empty, but my spirit is full, and it's enough to carry me through. No wealth, no crown, no earthly claim, yet I am not the same. My hands are empty, but my spirit is full, filled with your name. I used to chase the sound of having, as if more would make me whole, but every gain just added silence to the hunger in my soul. Then I laid down all my striving in the quiet of surrender's ground, and what I lost in outward vision was where real life was found. Now I see the hidden treasure was never what I could hold, but the unseen breath of mercy, worth more than gold. My hands are empty, but my spirit is full, and I no longer need to run. My hands are empty, but my spirit is full. Your presence is the only one. No fear remains, no empty flame, holy grace that calls my name. My hands are empty, but my spirit is full, and I am changed. Oh, Jah, I let it go. Everything I thought I owned, and in that letting go, I was not alone. Empty hands became holy, not because they had less, but because they stopped resisting your fullness in their rest. Now I carry light instead of burden. I walk without chains of need, and every step I take is richer than anything greed could feed. Even silence feels abundant ask me how I'm still standing, how I still breathe after what I've seen. But they don't understand. I was never alone in the storm. The wind was there, and the wind remembers everything. Through seasons of silent breaking, where hope felt like a distant sound, and every road I thought was leading only turned me further around. I carried nights without a sunrise and mornings without relief, but even in my deepest struggle I learned the shape of belief. There were days I could not tell you if I would rise or fall again, but something in the unseen movement kept breathing through my pain. The wind knows what I survived. It carried every tear I cried. The wind knows what I survived when I had nothing left inside. No witness needed, no alibi. The sky itself cannot deny. The wind knows what I survived, and I am still alive. I saw my fears become like mountains, too high for my voice to climb. But even mountains learn to tremble in the presence of divine time. I try to hide my broken seasons like they were shaped my musty race, but every scar became a language that led me to this place. The wind would pass through empty corners where I once fell and stayed too long, and somehow in its quiet passing it turned my pain into song. The wind knows what I survived. It speaks my truth when I am quiet. The wind knows what I survive, and it will not be denied. No silence can erase my day. No storm can put out this flame. The wind knows what I survive, and I remain the same, yet changed. Just moving, it was shaping who I am. Now I no longer fear the weather, I no longer fear the night, because even in the darkest passage I found a hidden light. The wind still speaks in quiet language, reminding me where I've been. Not to reopen old wounds of sorrow, but to show how I have been. What tried to break me only taught me how unbreakable I am inside. And every storm that came to stop me became the reason I survived. The wind knows what I survived, and it sings it every storm I walked through, you walked me through. The wind knows, the wind knows, the wind knows, the wind knows. I traveled far, farther than I understood, through places I called freedom, but felt like exile. I thought I was searching for life, but I was only learning distance. And now, at the close of the day, I can finally see it. I was always coming home. I walked through seasons of my wandering, where every road had no return. I chased the sound of independence, only to watch my bridges burn. The world felt wide but not forgiving. It gave me choices but no peace. And every victory I was claiming only made my emptiness increase. But something deeper kept me moving, even when I lost my way. Like a voice I could not silence, calling softly every day. At the close of the day, I finally came home, not to a place but to your voice alone. At the close of the day, I finally came home, where I was never unknown. No more running, no more pain, only mercy calling my name. At the close of the day, I finally came home, and I am not the same. I carry questions like heavy luggage through every season I endured, but answers never came in rushing. They came when I was sure that I had reached the limit of what my strength could understand. And in that moment of surrender, I finally saw your hand. What I thought was abandonment was you waiting for my eyes to open to the truth I missed behind my every disguise. At the close of the day, I finally came home, through every broken path I've known. At the close of the day, I finally came home, to a love I could not outgrow. No shame remains, no fear survives, only grace that keeps me alive. At the close of the day, I finally came home, and I rise. Oh, Jah, I was never lost from you, only lost from myself. And every road I took away brought me back here as well. The journey was not rejection, it was revelation. Every step away from home was preparation. Now I understand the silence that followed every storm I faced. It was not the end of mercy, it was mercy making space. I no longer fear the distance, I no longer chase the night, because I found the real destination was always in your light. Even my mistakes are welcome, even my past is understood, because I found that home is not a place, it is goodness. At the close of the this moment remain, that even the farthest heart can come home again at the close of the day. I used to carry my yesterday like it was alive, breathing on my back, whispering my failures into my present. But something changed, not in the world, but in me. And suddenly, what used to crush me started to lose its weight. I didn't know mercy could feel this light. I woke up inside my memories like there were rooms I couldn't leave. Every mistake I ever made refused to let me breathe. The past spoke louder than my future. Shadows followed every step I took, and I carried shame like heavy armor, written in an open book. But even in that broken silence, something gentle broke through pain. A whisper saying you are changing, you are not that name again. The weight of my yesterday is lighter now. I can finally stand up and breathe somehow. The weight of my yesterday is lighter now. Mercy broke the chain I bow. No more dragging what I used to be. No more chains defining me. The weight of my yesterday is lighter now. I am finally free. I try to fix myself with distance, running from the echoes in my mind. But every road I took in hiding left the same pain behind. Then I stopped in the middle of my running and let silence speak my name. And I found that grace was waiting where I buried all my shame. But that thought would always follow me began to fade like morning dew, and the story I was terrified of was rewritten into new. The weight of my yesterday is lighter now. No more chains holding me down. The weight of my yesterday is lighter now. I can hear a different sound. It's not regret, it's not pain, it's mercy calling me again. The weight of my yesterday is lighter now. I am healed within. Oh, Jah, you lifted what I couldn't carry. You broke what I could not break. Every burden turned to blessing. Every fall you remade. The past is no longer my prison. It is my testimony. What once destroyed me now reveals your glory. Now I walk with lighter footsteps, not because the past is gone, but because it no longer owns me or tells me where I belong. Even my scars have lost their power to define my inner worth, because I found a deeper story written before my birth. I am not the sum of broken moments. I am more than what I've done. I am mercy's living echo. I am rising like the sun. The weight of my yesterday is lighter now, and I can finally look returns to whisper. I will not listen the same, because mercy rewrote my ending and changed my name. The weight of my yesterday. The weight of my yesterday. I thought worship belonged to the whole, the strong, the unshaken, the certain. But I came with cracks. I came with silence in my voice. I came with pieces I could not hold together. And I wondered, does heaven still receive a broken sound? I stood in the shadow of my weakness, trying to hide what I could not fix. Every smile I wore in public was a mask of contradictions. I thought I had to be perfect before I could lift my hands, but my soul was learning slowly. God does not demand demands. Even my tears had their own language. Even my silence had a song. And I realized in my falling that I had been wrong. Even the broken learn to worship. Even the wounded find a sound. Even the broken learn to worship, where mercy gathers them around. No perfection needed here, only truth that draws you near. Even the broken learn to worship, and heaven bends to hear. I brought my doubts into the altar. I brought my questions into light. And instead of condemnation, I found arms of endless light. My cracks became like open windows, where your glory entered in. And every flaw I tried to bury became where you begin. I used to think my broken pieces disqualified my praise, but now I see they are the reason my worship finds its way. Even the broken learn to worship. Even the lost still know your name. Even the broken learn to worship, and nothing stays the same. No shame remains, no fear survives, only grace that keeps me alive. Even the broken learn to worship, and I come alive. Oh, Jah, I bring what I have, not what I wish I was. And somehow you call it holy, because of love, not because. The altar is not for the perfect, it is for the real. And brokenness is the language that teaches us how to heal. Now I lift my hands without fear, no longer hiding what I feel, because I learned that broken worship is the most honest deal. I am whole in you. Let my brokenness be an offering, not a reason to hide. Let every shattered piece of me be where you reside.